Welcome to the Friday edition of Wine's World, and this one is a somewhat special one, I guess. Two things to talk about, one for the future and one for the little bit further future, but still in our ballpark. This Sunday is called Mid-Lent Sunday, and it's officially called Laetare Sunday within the Church of England, but it's unofficially called Mothering Sunday, and I want to talk about that particularly this time. And I'm giving you an alert that my birthday is coming up next week, and so Tuesday's edition of Wine's World will be about my birthday. It'll be on what I call Birthday Eve. Very narcissistic of me. I have a birthday and I also celebrate Birthday Eve. That's Tuesday because my birthday is on Wednesday. So let's get started with Mothering Sunday. Now, a lot of people follow the custom of the United States with Mother's Day, which was invented by a woman in the United States, I believe in the 19th century, I don't remember exactly, because she felt that there was a need to honor mothers. And what she didn't know was that in the Church of England and in English culture in general, there had been for centuries a day honoring mothers, but it was a little bit more complicated than just being a Mother's Day. It was known as Mothering Sunday, and people went what they called mothering. Well, this is how it gets a little bit complicated. Lent, as you know, has 6 Sundays in it, and so we're getting to the 4th Sunday, which is generally known as Mid-Lent. That is, we're right in the middle of Lent, and sometimes it's called Refreshment Sunday, and what that means is that you can relax your fasting just a tiny bit more than you do on most other Sundays, because this is right in the middle. So you need just a little break. Doesn't mean you can go hog wild any more than you can go hog wild on any Sunday, but you can go a little bit more. And historically, I think in the 19th century and earlier, house servants were given the day off, and they were allowed to travel. Now, this also gets very complicated, but historically it was not easy for people to leave the place where they were working. They were tied to that location in one way or another. They had to have permission to travel. On Mothering Sunday, people were given permission to travel to the church where they were baptized, and that's known as their mother church, and so it was called mothering. Well, now, who is likely to be living in the village or the location where you were baptized? Your parents, right? And especially your mother. So that when you are allowed to visit your mother church, it means you are most likely going to be able to visit your parents. And what happened by a fairly obvious folk process is that Mothering Sunday became associated with visiting your mother, not just your mother church, but your mother, and that you would bring her presents. And the two commonest presents were flowers, particularly violets, because they were beginning to bloom at this time of year. They're the early flowers, and simnel cake. Now, simnel is a very fine wheat flour. So simnel cake is a very fine wheaten flour cake, and it's very much like a Christmas cake. And the simnel cake was very common for both Easter and for Mothering Sunday. You bring your mother a simnel cake, very special thing that you would have prepared and baked at a baker's. And I want to talk about that in a minute, but before we do that, I want to talk about a song that is based on a poem by Robert Herrick called A Mothering. And here is an old video of me singing Herrick's poem.
It is the day of all the year, the one day when I shall see my mother dear and bring her cheer, a mothering on Sunday. And I'll put on my Sunday coat, and in my hat a feather, and get the lines I writ by rote with many a note. I've strung them all together. And I'll go fetch my simnel cake, I'll fetch it from the baker. He promised me the best he'd make for mother's sake, for me to fetch and take her. The boys will all come home from town, no one will miss that one day, and every maid will bustle down to show her gown, a mothering on Sunday. It is the day of all the year, the one day, and here come I, my mother dear, to bring you cheer, a mothering on Sunday.
Now, when I was a pastor, used to sing this in church every Mothering Sunday, and I would talk a little bit about my mother. Here's an image of her. And I would talk about mothering and visiting your mother church and so on and so forth. And I would talk about the simnel cake. And here's an image of an Easter simnel cake. And here's how we're going to tie things together with my birthday, because you'll see here that I have half of a Christmas cake that I made not for last Christmas, but for the Christmas before last. And it's been sitting in brandy now for well over a year. And I don't want to just keep it until forever, until next Christmas. I did not eat it this Christmas because I was just overloaded with food. I had Christmas pudding, I had sausage rolls, mince pies, everything, and I got to Christmas Day and I said, no, I can't do Christmas cake as well as Christmas pudding. And then on 12th night I could have made a 12th cake out of it, and I was still saying, no, I've got too much to eat. And so now I have this. I'm going to make a simnel cake for my birthday. And I will show you on Tuesday how I go about making it. It's not very complicated. It's a fruit cake base, and it has marzipan on top, and it can be decorated in different ways. So I'm going to do a birthday kind of decoration, probably with candles. I don't quite know yet. I'm thinking about making roses out of marzipan, but we'll see. So that's Mothering Sunday, and it's a curiosity to me. It happens in March usually. It's a little late this year because Easter is a little late. But it's nice for me because my birthday always tangles up with some part of Lent or Easter. Once in a while it gets confused with Palm Sunday, and once in a very great while with Easter Sunday itself. That doesn't happen very often, although my very first Easter Sunday as a pastor was my birthday. So I had to get up before dawn to do a dawn service and then a regular service and whatnot. So I didn't get to celebrate my birthday until well into the afternoon. But that does not happen very often, and I believe it's not going to happen again until I'm really, really ancient. I can look it up, and I'll post something in a crawl if I get round to it. But I really like the tradition of Mothering Sunday, of tying together visiting your mother, having a holiday in general, visiting places that are important to you from your childhood, all those kinds of things. That's how it resonates with me with my birthday as well. So I hope you have a jolly good weekend, and if you are British or within the British tradition, like Australian or Canadian or whatever, I also wish you a joyous Mothering Sunday, Refreshment Sunday, Laetare Sunday. It's the day when the pink candle is going to be extinguished. That represents Mid-Lent. Also the day when the clergy in the Church of England wear pink. Very unusual. Pink vestments are really, really rare. So a joyous Sunday in general, and I wish you joy, and I will see you back here on Tuesday.